Ooh wee, you already know, Macho MasDuro in the building. Today's gonna be transformation haircut, PrettyBoiMoi. Alright, as you can see, this boy needs me in his life. Ooh wee. Now he hasn't cut his hair for about 8 months. This is my cousin, he know. So you already know. First I start out by brushing out the hair. You gotta brush out that hair. You got some naps, man. What's up with this? I don't know. Initially, what I do right now, I start off, once I see all this hair, when it's crazy like that right now, I'll start off with my number 5 guard. I take my magic clip, I start off with my number 5 clip, and I like to make the formation. So I go all the way up with it, and I'll just start it. I can have like a nice clean canvas. So when I start with my baldings, I can make a nice clean initial guideline. The technique that I'm using right here, I like to just go ahead and go all the way up and take out all the excess hair that's around, and I like to just to form the hair, especially when it's long like that. I just like to start just forming, if I can make an initial guidelines with my baldings when I start fading. Right now I take my baldings and I start my initial guideline. He's gonna have a bald skin fade, and I just start my initial guideline. That's my first initial guideline that I start with my baldings. What I do to one side, I do exactly around to the other side. So I'm making sure it's all nice and is symmetrical on both sides. Then I take my Andes and I just go ahead and I clean up everything up, making this a nice, clean, and crisp, that it's got like that skin bald fade look. You know what I'm saying? Now what I do, I open up my lever on my fast feeds, and once I open up my lever, the guard all the way up, I make another initial guideline, which is about 1/4 inch up. That's what they say, but me personally, I make it a little bit further up. I go above, so I bring it like maybe a 1/2 inch. And once I get a 1/2 inch, and I got that initial guideline with the 1/2, I close my lever all the way down, and I start erasing that balding initial guideline that I created in the bottom. As you can see, I already erased the balding initial guideline. Now we're gonna work on taking out the second guideline, which is that I did with the number 3. That way we can have that nice smooth transition blend. Now I have the number 2 guard. Once again, open lever, then I close it, making it a true 2, and I just clean up everything around. I'm making sure I got a nice clean canvas that I can work with. I can give it a nice smooth transition blend. Now what I'm doing right now, I take the 1.5, same thing, just start cleaning it up, just making sure that I hit the spot where I see where the initial guideline is at. I never go above it. It's be very cautious. I never go above it. I always use my corners too. So what I end up doing, I just make sure that I hit that initial guideline that I created, never going above it. Then I take my number 1 and I follow the same process. So remember, we went from 3, 2, 1.5 to now a 1 with an open lever and hitting that initial guideline. As you can see, we still haven't erased it, so you can still see that nice hard line, and that's what we're gonna erase right now. Remember, I'm using the 1 open, and after I clean it all up, then I close my lever, and I start hitting that same initial guideline that I'm trying to erase, so I can get that smooth, clean transition blend. Now as I clean it, remember, like, this is just one of my signature cuts. You know, this is inspired by my firstborn, PrettyBoiMoi. That's a nickname. I like to nickname everybody. As you can tell, the person who's sitting in my chair, as I already said before, he's my older cousin named Hinorio. You know, he's been in my life for years. So he got inspired by the cut also. I just have mad people when they come to the shop. They be like, yo, I just want the PrettyBoiMoi. I want the PrettyBoiMoi. So, you know, initially I just give him the PrettyBoiMoi. Ooh wee. Now, same process. As you can see, that the line, that initial guideline is getting lighter. Now I grab my half open and I start hitting. You see, it's starting to look nice faded. Ooh-wee, you faded. I'm gonna tell mama. You see, you start off with an open lever and then you gradually start closing it. That way you can start seeing the nice smooth transition blend from the skin balding all the way up. And remember, what you do to one side, you do to the other side. So just to let you guys know about the process all over again, remember, number one, with the PrettyBoiMoi, which basically the PrettyBoiMoi is a skin fade with a part with some curls, you know. Now, this initial part that I do right now, I got inspired by the Juice. If you guys ain't never seen the movie Juice, check it out. Y'all boys can go ahead and watch the movie Juice. Alright, Tupac had that ill part. Alright, now what I got inspired by is that I just made my number 2 and I'll just go ahead and I'll almost like at an angle and I'll cut all the hair off. Then after I cut all the hair off, I do my line, my signature line part that I do. I start off like a little bit after the middle and I'll just slantly curve it. And then I'll just make sure that's nice and crisp, that I can see the line really nice, depending on the, you know, client's hair or whatnot, you know. He hasn't cut his hair so long, so you still get the curls in there. So you want to just make sure you take your time and you just can hit it, so you can see that nice crisp line, you know. Once you get that nice crisp line, then you just go ahead and you go into the shape up, which I like. Initially I make the shape up, I make the line anyway. Now right here on the front shape up, always take your time. Remember, I like to start off from the middle, and I'm right-handed, so I like to do my left first, and then I'll make it look symmetrical to the right side. And don't get it twisted. Once you start off doing the shape ups, everybody's shape up is different. Sometimes you got to make the shape up. So remember, hairlines matter, all right? If you can start seeing the way his shape up started, it takes time for you can give it that nice clean look, that it looks symmetrical on both sides without pushing the hairline back. That is very important. You want to keep it looking as natural as possible. And then on the top, what you see I do, I just take the scissors and I like to do 2 finger lengths. I wet it. And once I wet it, it is nice and wet, I'll go ahead and I'll do 2 finger lengths throughout his head. Just that little patch that he has right there, just making him have the curls. And I always do with 2 finger lengths. And ooh-wee, and you already know what shave gel I be using. Toon Squad in the building. I use that Toon 45 shave gel made by Barbers for Barbers, which I'm sponsored by. If y'all don't know, y'all better go check them out, man. Made by Barbers for Barbers. Real true barbers in the building. Ooh-wee. Once you get that nice clean line, you start seeing on what you do to one side with the razor, you do to the other side, you know. Just nice, smooth. As you can see right now, all I'm doing it, I'm not applying too much pressure. It's a nice, smooth transition with the razor. And always take your time, especially when you're using the razor. Take your time. Yeah, I like, me personally, it's like he has thick hair. So what he does, I like to put a little tad bit on the gel on the line that I just made. And I just go ahead and just blend it all in, you know, rubbing it all in, making sure that it's just, I got all the parts that I'm about to hit with that razor. Then I gradually just take my razor and just gently just start hitting. And I'm only using, I'm real lightly. You don't have to put a big tap on it. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on it. Let the razor do its work, you know. Personally, I like to clean it off, and after I even did the razor, like I always, there's no point And there's no you don't have to be ashamed of going back and looking at your work. Remember, you can always go back, look at your work, and see small points that you can go ahead and you can just do some touch up. Different person right now. Big shout out to my boy PrettyBoiMoi. And my boy is fresh to death. If he don't got a girlfriend, he gonna find a few of them. And if he don't, it's because, you know what? His talk game was off, because that haircut is on fire, on point.
Ooh, he's PrettyBoiMoi in the building. And shout out to my dad for making my own signature haircut. If you guys want more tutorials, go follow my dad on YouTube, Macho MasDuro. Subscribe. Ooh-wee.